Hello, hello, and welcome to the show with no name. I'm Theonie Roussianos, and this is.
Hello, I'm Adaire Palmer. Am I going the right way?
No, you're not. Thank you for joining us today. We've got an amazing show today, but first of all, Adaire, I'm not used to doing it this way around. We've done the whole role reversal thing today.
We have. We're mixing it up a little bit today. We just want to share with you, we dreamed up the show with no name. It was probably 6 or 8 months ago now, because what we wanted to do, we wanted to help people in the community who are doing amazing things to help each other. And this could be charities, not-for-profits, people who are doing community fundraising, or just people who are helping people in any way that they can. And it's something that we have it's a real passion project for Theonie and I. So bringing to you the good news stories, and some of it's a bit sad, but the good news stories about how people are actually reaching out and connecting, and mainly generally using social media to advance their cause or help or do more good in the community. So today, back to you, Theonie, because you're going to introduce our very special guest for today. I'm really excited about this.
I am really excited as well. Now, just to give you a little bit of a backstory of who we've got on today. So we have Dr. Kim Taylor on the phone today. On the phone. She's on her phone, so technically I'm not wrong.
She is on the phone, yes. Joining us live today,
we have Dr. Kim Taylor. Now, Kim is the grandmother of a 6-year-old boy named Karson, who has, I saw a story, I know I shared, a few of my friends will have seen this, I shared a few weeks ago something that just happened to pop up in my feed, and with our history with Jerry and his kidney issues that he's facing, it just really pulled at the heartstrings a little bit, because when it's kids who are sick, it's different. And so Karson was diagnosed with a rare kidney disease when he was only 4, called chronic nephrotic syndrome, and he spent his 5th birthday in ICU. So when he celebrated his 6th birthday earlier this month on the 7th of September, and Kim's book club, a couple of wonderful ladies in Kim's book club, organised I think they're calling it a card challenge. It went global. Karson, for his 6th birthday, wanted birthday cards from people from all around the world, just as a way to celebrate his 6th birthday. So I saw this and I posted a card over to Altavista in the US, and with a little note to Kim and her family as well in there. And let me tell you, they have received over 22,000 cards, and I know they have read every single one of them because they connected with me. If they weren't reading those cards, they wouldn't have seen the message.
Oh my God. Did you say 22,000 cards or 2,200? This is like, am I hearing you right?
3 zeros.
Oh my God.
Now, I don't know who's counting these cards, but I'm just going to bring Kim into the broadcast because her family story is just absolutely incredible, and it is bigger than them. It's just an absolute inspiration. Hello, Kim, and thank you for joining us. Thank you for saying yes.
Thank you. Thank you for the invitation.
So you are, so how many cards has he received? And who's doing the count?
Well, actually, when this started, as the book group wanted to start the card exchange because of his horrible birthday last year, we anticipated maybe 100 to 200 cards. We had no idea the power of social media. And when the first day I was traveling, and when Chelsea reached out and said, I'm going to do this, I'm posting it, going live with this, okay, whatever. And then we were traveling and we came home and our porch was full, literally, of cards. And it was like, we actually had the TV station reached out to us once it was posted on Facebook, and they reached out. And like 2 days later, when I got home, like I said, the whole porch was full. So my daughter took on the marketing campaign for Team Karson. So she did the counting. And when she got at 5,000, I said, stop. We'll just, as we start reading these cards, we would just put like the little, dots. So what we were finding is I call the post because we have the post delivered here to this house each day, and we come pick it up wherever we're staying from. And the postmaster said, I'm going to need you to come to the post office and pick up your mail every day because it's too much. It's too much, like in it's heavy, or you just don't have, So basically, it took me, my daughter, a couple of friends. We were getting 5 and 6 crates of mail a day there for 3 or 4 days. And we're like, oh, wow. So I did a couple of Facebook Lives earlier in the week, and I told everybody we were going to try to get through these cards within 10 days. But then I told the kids, I said, nope, these people took the time to send these cards to Karson. We were going to work through these 24/7, which we did. So then as we started counting these cards, what we were finding were those packages. When we opened those packages, we were finding a stack of 1,600 cards from one school. Oh. And that's how it kind of plummeted. So right now, the count probably is close to about 25,000.
Wow.
And we've read every single one of them. Now, of course, Karson was in on as much as he could, but his energy level fades. So what we're doing with the school is each night between 30 and 50 cards we are reading to him as part of his lessons. So they're going to actually be read more than one time. He would swing by, hey, that looks good, So I actually had the pleasure of opening your card. And when I got it, I handed it to everyone around the table. I'm like, well, I'm going to read it because they always hand me the long ones. And I read your note and I thought, okay, put it aside. And that's kind of how we handle the things. So we've had like several people that have written and saying that they were on dialysis and are looking to Karson for support. So what we did was I kind of took on that group of people. And then everyone else was reading, I don't want to say the normal cards, because every one of those cards received individual attention. And will receive individual attention again once they read it with Karson. But the messages that we got, and your message struck out to me. I'm like, oh, wow, she wants to meet. And as soon as I read the letter is when I hopped on Facebook to friend request. And I'm like, okay, wish you remember who I am, because everybody calls me Gaga or Kay or whoever. And my Facebook profile is a little bit different. So I am going to make all those names kind of match here pretty soon. But Team Karson has become a global phenomenon, as you said. Once these cards went viral, it's like, okay, I'm getting messages every day. Hey, I just saw your kid in Arkansas. I saw your kid in Chicago. I saw your kid in Indonesia. I'm like, oh my goodness. So the post today was about 3,000 cards. So we're going to work through those tonight. So it is just, like I said, it is a phenomenon, and we're really pleased with all these cards because they have done so much to increase his self-image, his self-esteem, and just knowing that people around the world care for him.
Yeah, and it all started with, so it's just amazing how much a small community project can just skyrocket into something so incredible. So now this was started by 2 wonderful ladies in your book club.
Correct. We have a book group, and we actually send each other books each month. And we just kind of pick a theme, and each month there's 6 ladies in the club. And when Karson got sick last year, I kind of backed away. I was like, I don't have time. It's not that I don't have time. I need to focus on him, because we were told in the matter of 4 minutes from him going in emergency surgery, he was going to die. I had a son traveling abroad. I had a daughter, doing this. I had to get the whole family together. So the book group noticed, hey, where's Kim? Something's not right. What's going on? So I told them the story, and they're like, okay, what can we do? Can we send cards? So they sent cards. And when he was in the hospital last year, he got about 21 cards, I believe it was. And he's lived on those 21 cards all year. And like me, I carry cards with me everywhere I go. If I get a card from my husband, a girlfriend, it goes in my bag. I read it over and over and over. And we found this was what Karson was doing as he went through this disease. When he was having bad days, he would pull the card off the wall and say, Gaga, can you read this to me? And so that's why I shared it with the book group, how important these cards were becoming to him. And that's why Chelsea and Rosemary said, hey, let's see what we can do for his birthday to make this birthday special. And boy, was it special.
Yeah. I can see Rosemary's online watching us today. Hello, Rosemary. Thank you for joining us all the way from California.
Hey, hello, Rosemary.
So it's, how's Karson traveling now? Now, I know his condition is not only rare, but it is life-threatening.
It is. The condition chronic nephrotic syndrome, unfortunately, Karson has not responded to the support, what we call the supportive treatment for the chronic nephrotic syndrome. Chronic nephrotic syndrome is basically a nice name to say your kidneys aren't working well and you're putting out too much protein. And the only real treatment for him, it's not curable. And that's the key. It's not curable. And that's kind of the slap in the face that we're not looking for. So basically all we can do is just give him steroids. And if the goal was to put him on the steroids to kind of shut the kidney process, shock the kidneys back into to jumpstart to work again. But unfortunately, it didn't happen. And every time we tried to taper him, he's ended up back in the hospital. And the goal was to get him off the steroids within 8 weeks. If we could get him off the steroids in 8 weeks, he would have probably most likely never another problem with it again, unless there was like the cold, flu, pneumonia, something like that. We'd put him on a course of steroids, but we've not been able to get him off of them for 14 months. So we are going on the transplant list. Unfortunately, we're still not giving up hope that maybe these kidneys will jumpstart. That's our goal. That's our plan. That's our wish. So it's in God's hands. And, honestly, with this response from this card exchange, we've had people reaching out wanting to come visit him. Just the whole Team Karson concept is kind of, I don't want to feel like I'm skipping around from place to place with you, but to really tell the whole story, you got to incorporate the cards into his condition, into the storyline, into this small community. This community in which he lives, there's only like 3,000 people here. So, 3,000 people, and then you end up getting 25,000 cards from around the world. Most of those cards came from outside of this community. And that's why it was like, oh my goodness. So then people start calling us from other states saying, hey, we want to come down. We want to meet Karson. We want to do some stuff with Karson. And so a group of firefighters came down last weekend and spent some time with him. And we have seen a tremendous change in his lab studies, in his blood work, and in his overall condition, just being active and having people come spend time with him. And we don't know if it's the fact that he was just so sedentary, because, with this kidney disease, the bad thing about it is it's not just the kidneys that are affected. His legs give out, he falls, he has to walk with a walker. It's just everything is affected. So I've set up this interview with the local newspaper like 4 times, and we've had to cancel because he just can't do it. And so what we're seeing is the outpouring of these cards is picking him up. And he goes every morning, hey, Gaga, how many cards did I get today? Let's read some of them. And at bedtime tonight, he's going to read, I think he picked up 20 he wants to read tonight at bedtime. But we're seeing that is really picking up his self-esteem. It's making him feel like, okay, I don't care what the people have to say about me, because he is a victim of bullying. And we can talk about that down the road, because as I shared with you earlier this morning, we have a lot of plans for Team Karson. It's going to go far and beyond this card exchange. And it was going to go that way irregardless of how the card exchange went. Because ultimately our goal is to go to Kidney Foundation, Karson Taylor Foundation, and then we're going to team up with some other organizations around the country. One that's really been really supportive of us is Never a Bully. We've been in contact. Aware, which is a Center for Missing Kids, they found that a lot of the kids that are missing have actually been bullied and have taken their own lives. We have a very strong stance against bullying. So where we want to go in the future with this, and we may talk about it another time if you invite me back, is where we're going to go with this, because this is going to become, it's already an international sensation, Team Karson.
So,
and
all right,
people ask me every day, what does Team Karson stand for? And it's not just Karson. It's the fact that, his dad coined that term. Like, Team Karson,
she got on the roll, she
we'll go
wouldn't
with Team
stop.
Karson. So now
I don't know if she can hear us. Sorry, Kim.
I can't hear anybody. I'm not even hearing myself.
So can you hear?
I'm sorry, I can't hear y'all.
All right,
so
Kim,
I can hear you, but I can't hear anybody else.
All right, so that's cool.
Hang
Kim,
on 1 second.
We just
okay. Now let's try that.
Okay, Kim, I wanted to ask you a question, because we've segued from the. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me, Kim? Hello.
I can see the messages, but I can't hear. I can hear you.
Can you hear me? Can you hear Theonie? Yes. Nod once for yes.
Yeah, I can hear you, but I can't hear anybody else.
All right. No, that's okay. You can see the messages. And you can hear us. We only have.
I'm not sure if it's interrupted a signal, and we're having some weird weather here in the area, so I'm not sure if that's interrupted a signal.
It's all good.
It's all good. Can I just ask you a question, Kim? I just wonder, I'm fascinated because you've segued from the kidney disease and into bullying, and I'm really interested. I know you probably would have gotten around to it.
Someone asked me a question.
If we'd let you talk, but I think what I'd like to know is why the focus on the bullying. So how's the bullying related to the kidney disease? If that's so now you're interested in bullying.
Did you hear that, Kim?
No, I'm not hearing any of the questions.
She can't hear you. Oh no. So you couldn't hear Adaire talking then, is that right?
No, I'm hearing you, but I'm not hearing anyone else.
Okay, well I'll repeat what she said. I'll be the interpreter, but I don't do signs, so I'll just speak it. Adaire's interested in where, and I'm sure everybody else is as well, where the connection between the bullying and Karson's kidney disease comes along. So how has that started and progressed?
Oh, wow. That's really an interesting story in itself. Karson cannot go back to regular school Not so much because, well, his energy level, he can only go for about 3 hours and then he's down for about 8. I mean, he's not feeling well tonight, or he was going to be here with me. He's actually already in the bed. But the way that what happened was last year when he started on the steroids, people at school started picking on him. You've got fat cheeks, you've got a fat belly, because when he was diagnosed with this condition, he had 52 pounds of fluid on his stomach. And if you go to my page, you can see some of those early pictures of when he was diagnosed, and that's when the doctor said he was going to die. They had to take all this fluid off of him. And so we sent him back to school when he was discharged from the hospital, and people kept bullying him, and we were getting called from the principal. He was trying to take up for himself. And even now, he came home yesterday and said, I'm being bullied still at school. So that's a big reason that he's not even back into the public school setting. He's having to go to a private school 3 hours a day. And we have found that just with my practice and everything, that most kids with chronic illnesses that are different are indeed bullied. They may not want to tell you, but most of the time they are. And that's why we took this concept when we found out that he was going to have this lifelong. We decided we were going to make this a family project, and we're going to try to turn something positive out of this negative. I mean, anybody that knows me know that I don't thrive on the negativity in life. Yeah, we were slapped in the face 14 months ago, but Team Karson is going to take this and run with it. We're going to take it, and we're going to, first of all, it's his health. Secondly, we're going to do the foundation to try to help some other kids and build this thing up. And our goal down the road in about 24 months is my business plan for this is we're going to have a anti-bullying campaign international where we have people out there going around the world talking about bullying, anti-bullying. And it's going to start with the adults because, just as you know, the biggest bulliers are on social media as adults hiding behind the computer screen. So what we want to do is we want to use Karson's story to kind of let people know, hey, it's okay to be different. And that's one thing we're trying to force. And with these cards with Karson, not one card have I read that did not say, we love you. You're a beautiful little child. And that's what we keep trying to tell him. Because I got fat cheeks, Gaga. My cheeks are fat. People pick on me. I can't run. He can only have like 6 glasses of water a day. So imagine telling a 5 or 6-year-old kid that. So there's a lot of things that there's just so many different issues at play here with this disease that we're attacking each one of them differently. But the whole global incentive is going to be an anti-bullying campaign, which is going to be the major focus of the Karson Taylor Foundation. And then on the flip side of it, it's going to be treating the condition and getting more research, because not many parents or not many grandparents, myself, being in medicine, are going to sign their kid up to be a dummy in a research program.
Yeah. And that's a thing when new treatments and things come in, they are trials, and you don't know if they're going to help or hinder, do you?
No. And what we've done with Karson is, and this has been the hardest part for me, is everybody's like, why can't you fix him? Well, I can't fix everybody.
Because you're a doctor.
Right. And the hard questions are coming from Karson himself now. Initially he was in a coma for 2 weeks, and when he woke up, he didn't know what had happened to him. So we had to go back and start talking to him, in baby language, because he had to learn to walk, talk, and all that all over again. And if you go to his page or my page, you'll see that transition from where he went from not walking in a coma all the way back to where he is today. So we've made a lot of progress over the last 14 months. But I'm going to tell you, since those cards have come in all this last week, I have seen a totally different child. I mean, he's wanting to do stuff. He's wanting to be a little bit more active and just feeling better about himself. Because when he told me yesterday he'd been bullied, I said, what did the kids say? He said, well, I had fat cheeks. I said, well, what did you say to him? So I told him he had fat cheeks back. So, it's like you don't really know, how to tell him to address these kids, because you don't want to knock down another kid just because they're picking on you. So these are some things that, we have a whole notebook of incentives that we're going to work on as a family. And that's where the Team Karson concept comes, and we're welcome for suggestions out there. We put the plea out there on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram. Hey, if you want to be a member of Team Karson, just shoot us a message. We're going to have a job for you coming up pretty soon. So there's lots to come with Team Karson. We're just beginning.
Speaking of, now we've got 10 minutes to go. Now, I did want to bring one thing up. One of the biggest, I think, and I mean, she's got a massive network. I think one of the people that he would love to have on Team Karson would have to be Ellen DeGeneres. Am I right, or am I right?
Yeah, absolutely. He loves to dance, and if you watch my Facebook page, if he knows you're taping him, forget it. But I'll have the phone there, and I'll tape him as we're riding down the road, and he'll be dancing, and he'll be dancing outside, and you'll try to get those videos. And he loves Ellen. I had the pleasure of meeting Ellen, several years back, and And I really would like for him to have that opportunity because his story has just touched thousands. 25,000 cards sent in a matter of 5 days. I just think that's unreal. And so if we can get the story to her, which, we all have contacts, I think we can get her attention. I think that would be ultimate for him. And it took us a little while to get to Luke Bryan, and he got there, and then he got to Callum, and he's just not giving up, and he's one that he'll write the posters and write the signs. And he's like, hey, someone asked me, we took him to see Luke Bryan. I think it was back in July. He wanted to go. So we took him to see Luke Bryan. I'm like, oh my God, Luke Bryan's going to think we're stalking him. And so Luke had finally got to meet Karson, and it was like, oh yes, mark this off my list. So, to a kid, Luke Bryan is his hero, and he loves his music, and that's really, actually, we can talk all day about how Luke influenced him with his early recovery, but no, he loves Ellen, and he also wants to meet the president because he loves Trump. So he told me the other day, he said, Mom, Gaga, he said, do you think if I call the president that he can make these people stop bullying me? And I said, well, we'll talk about that in a couple of years. So he has big dreams, and he sent a letter off to the White House. I believe it was on Thursday of last week. After the news people come, he wrote the president a letter and said, hey, the news people came and interviewed me. I hope you get to see it. I don't know if he has. I don't communicate with the president every day, so it's just kind of like he has big wishes, and I cannot emphasize again, we hope these cards continue because I cannot believe the change in this child just from these cards that have come.
Adaire just said could send him a tweet because we know he checks those.
Oh yeah, the tweet, and people that know me know that I'm not a really fun person on Twitter.
Adaire's just trying to ask you something. I know you can't hear her, so I will repeat.
Is it something I'm doing wrong that I can't hear her?
It might be the platform or Facebook. Sometimes it's
it might just be it's just technology. It's not you. It's beyond your control. But I can hear her, so I'll repeat what she's saying if you just give us a moment.
So I'm interested. Does Karson want to be on the Ellen show, or does he want what's his greatest
question?
Yeah. So would he, or does he want her to come and meet him, or how does he see that? What's the specific of his dream?
Ellen? Yeah, with Ellen, what is Karson's ultimate, if he could have anything he wanted, what's his ultimate thing? Is it that, does he want to be on her show? Is he hoping he will come visit her? What is it that he actually wants?
Dance with her.
Dance with her on her show?
He loves to dance. And he watches her dance each day. I used to tape her several years back when my mother was still alive. She liked to watch her while she was in dialysis. So I would tape her shows so she could watch it during her dialysis treatment. And he watched a lot of those with my mom. And that's how he fell in love with her. So I think the first thing is getting her attention, and then I think kind of Ellen just kind of does her own thing. She kind of like, oh, okay, he likes to dance. She always comes up with something crazy. Her. She's just so full of life herself. But he loves her, and just I guess just getting the message to her, and she may already see it. I don't know. I'm just surprised at the outpouring. Like I said, I cannot believe I've got 25,000 cards. I got probably 5,000 more in my cart. Like I said, we picked up today. So who knows? Maybe she sent him a card.
Well, you never know, do you? And I think just the power of social media, this just shows the power of social media when it's done right.
Absolutely. That's right. When it's done right.
There are always those keyboard warriors sitting there, bullying, whatever. There are those people in the world. But when you use social media for, the right reasons, stuff like this can happen.
It's true. And like I said, the news people called, and I actually didn't know they were coming, and they showed up and they did the interview with him. And like I said, that was last Wednesday. That was a week ago. And like on Friday, like I said, my daughter's porch was full, and then we had to start giving out other addresses, other houses that we haven't owned, because we were just so in flux with mail, and we're not complaining by any means, but it's just some of those stories and those letters, and people just didn't sign a card, and we all talked around the table as we were opening the cards, like one thing that I said, and my daughter-in-law said, "Well, I can't work for you, Mom, because I can't read your handwriting." Well, okay, typical doctor handwriting, whatever. Because I'm writing short notes, here.
That's
Hey,
because you're a doctor.
yeah, I need, I use these abbreviations. Hey, I need to send this person a letter. I need, I need to, send this person a card. And for me, it's like I need to take more time to write my name that you can read it. And secondly, the if we meet together another day, I'll get some cards together. I'll put some pictures up online of some of the ones that are really, they were all just so beautiful because people took so much time, and these teachers, they said, we opened one box with 1,600 cards. I'm like, oh my goodness. So we went through every one of them, and these kids had drawn these beautiful pictures. And we've got like 5 requests for pen pals. So the book group is going to now become pen pals to 5 and 6-year-old kids. And then actually I have a married couple that just got married that I read today wants to be Karson's pen pal because they're contemplating starting a family. So I'm like, okay, maybe Karson might not be the, you know what I mean? It's got things like that. So we're getting all kinds of requests, and we're going to honor as many as we can. And one thing that I do want to throw out there is, first of all, thank you for letting me be on the show. I love to come back because we really do want to get some international perspective on this. And I'm going to be coming to Australia pretty soon, so maybe I'll meet you live. So there's awesome. A lot of things that we've got going on that we would love to include you all with, with the cards and with this campaign and how we're going to approach this and just a lot of things.
Now, we definitely would love to have you back. We've only got a few minutes to go. Now, there will be a book launch happening at some point as well. You are writing a book with Karson?
Yes. What we're doing, I'll talk really fast here, is about 6 months ago, I was contacted by a production team out of Georgia who wanted to do a documentary on Karson. That has been filmed. It is currently in post-production. I do not have a release date. They do want to do a world premiere release here in Altavista, Virginia, which will be highly publicized. We're going to be bringing in some high name people. We're going to try to get Callum. There's the possibility maybe Luke Bryant. We don't know. We're going to try to get that really, really publicized with a lot of people because that's going to kind of be at the launch of, hey, the Team Karson. That's called the Karson Project, the documentary. That is focusing on the good, the bad, the ugly because they followed Karson for 4 days, 24 hours a day. So you're going to see in that documentary Karson answering these questions that you've posed to me, why he's bullied, how does he feel, how he fell asleep in the chair, fell out of the chair. We just had to let him do it because we want the world to see what this disease does to you. And so that goes along with the book. The book is being written with me and him are writing the book on. I haven't really titled it yet, but where we're going with this is being a doctor, being in medicine, and being able to, I can't fix him. And when he looks at me and says, am I going to die? We've had to touch some very, very difficult topics with him. So we're writing this book on the process as each day, which we're writing a journal. And then we're penning some pages. So the book will be released right after the documentary. And so I may be able to have a name for you in about 2 or 3 months, but right now I don't. There's just so many different avenues out there that we're probably going to stay away from the bullying in the book because we're going to make that our own different campaign. And that's why it's like you just take the sun with all these little spikes coming out from it. We have all those different directions that we're going with this campaign. We got Team Karson, we got the wristbands, we got the fundraisers, we've got the meet and greets, we've got the people that want to meet him, we've got the books, we've got the documentary, and then the card exchange, and then the actual medical part of it. So we've got a lot going on with him.
Yeah.
It sounds like it.
Yeah, absolutely. Sounds like there's and I love that. And one of the main reasons, one of the big reasons I got even more excited about speaking to you is you've been dealt, your family's been dealt a pretty crummy set of circumstances, but you haven't sat there and just, why us? Life's over. We may as well just sit here. And, you've taken your circumstances and using it as a motivation to make a difference.
My book group will tell you, if you talk to Rosemary, Chelsea, Rita, any of those people in that book group, they'll tell you that Dr. K does not mess with negativity. If it's negative, I don't have time for you. And I just saw that my daughter just hopped on Kara, Dr. Kara, So, we do not mess with negativity. And we've had a lot of naysayers come to us on Facebook. And you know what? I just say, have a good day. If you want to be a part of Team Karson, all we ask is that you be a team player and positivity. And so that's why we're taking this Team Karson concept and we're making something positive out of it. And that's where we're going to go.
Absolutely love it. I totally resonate with what you're saying. And I think it's, I don't know, when you sent me the friend request, I'll be honest with you, your name didn't come to mind straight away because I remembered there was a grandmother Kim, but I just, at the time I got the friend request, I just
Karson lives
wasn't
with
thinking
us.
about it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's confusing. A lot of people. Karson lives
Oh, that's
with
cool.
us, and that's his parents live here too, so it's not a big deal.
Yeah,
It's just
no, family's family.
yeah, and that's why we said it is going to be a family concept. It is not going to be Karson fighting this disease alone.
Yeah,
It is me, his papa, his aunts, uncles, in the world now. I mean,
yeah.
everybody in that card said, "We're with you. Do not give up." And one last thing I'll say, you may have seen this in the interview I did the other day. I read a letter. My mother died on dialysis 2 years ago. I had a lady that wrote to me the other day that was 63 years old, and she said, "I was going to stop dialysis. I was prepared to tell my family I was going to stop dialysis this week until I met your grandson." And that's pretty powerful.
Yeah,
and
so that 6-year-old boy helped her move on.
Exactly.
Move forward, not move on, move forward.
And with the card exchange was meant to build Karson up, but what we have found is people are looking to him for inspiration. That he is building them up, and I mean, boy, is that's caused some tearjerkers on us. So, we're thrilled to see where this is going to take us. We're happy to come back. I hope I can come back and bring Karson one day for you, because he loves to talk. And but just just
I can't imagine where he gets that from, Kim.
He is so funny. I mean, my God, he would tell you. Hey, when we took him to meet Callum, he talked to Callum for a whole hour. I just sat down and read a book. I'm like, okay, you done? And he's like, he's just a lovable kid. You'll love him.
Now, I just want to see, I can see clearly now the Team Karson, the hashtag Team Karson above your head. Are they wristbands above the sign?
Yes, they are wristbands. I don't know if I turn it around, will you be able to see it? I've got some on my arms. I don't know if you can see those. These are wristbands.
Yes. Perfect.
We do have these available. If anybody in your group wants them, all they have to do is just shoot me a message on Facebook, or I can send you some, and you can give them out. We have a hard time keeping them in stock. We've had multiple colors. Actually, I think Chelsea put a poll up today for some new colors. We have some orange ones coming in this week, so I'll get your address, and I'll send you a package out tomorrow with some armbands and some other Team Karson promos.
And we would definitely love it. We do have to go. We have run over time. We would definitely love to have you back and to hear the follow-on from the story. And when the documentary is being released, once you know that's on, I'd love to, I want to watch it. I want to watch it.
We want to be there when he meets Ellen too.
We do want to be there when he meets Ellen, because I'd love to meet Ellen as well. And if I can do that on Carson's coattails, hey, I'm not going to say no.
Well, if y'all can get him with Ellen, y'all can go fight with him and y'all take him, and y'all be able to bring him back and drop him off with my stepbrother. But no, he's a lovable boy. He is so full of life. And the last thing I'll say to you is this: during that documentary, I was being interviewed, and I broke down. I mean, I can't hold the tears back. And he came up to me and he hugged me. He said, "It's okay. I've got you. I'm here." And I'm like, oh my gosh, here's a 5-year-old supporting me. So that's what it's all about. And as long as I have breath in me, this child will have everything he needs. And Team Karson will go forward with all of her plans.
Beautiful.
Love. Yeah, we have run out of time. Don't go anywhere. I'm just putting you in the lobby. We'll have a chat with you in a moment.
Great.
Thank you so much for joining us. Really appreciate that.
That's brilliant. Thank you, Kim.
Wow. I have no other words.
Just amazing story. What an amazing woman. What an amazing grandma. What an amazing community.
Absolutely. And like she said, they're a community of 3,000 people. We're not talking a major city here. And now I did see here, I have to point out, because everything comes back to one of my favourite Canadians. There is somebody online here from Sudbury.
Oh,
do you know Jolene?
I think Letty. I've seen her on Jay's shows. Yeah.
So she's connected to my favourite Canadian.
What
amazing. Now, please share this far and wide. Invite your friends in. And, his birthday became bigger than what he expected. I think, like Kim said, that they were expecting perhaps a few hundred cards.
And we are 6 degrees of separation, and I don't believe that anyway with social media. So I think it's more like 1.5. So we
probably even reduce that.
It's probably even less. So let's see how fast we can get Karson to meet Ellen. So if any of you have any ways that we could fast track that process, just reach out to Kim or Theonie or myself, and we'd all be more than happy to help in any way that we can.
That's it. And keep sharing. Let this video go viral to make sure that Ellen sees it.
That'd be awesome.
All right. Now, we have gone 6 minutes over, but it was absolutely worth it. So I'm making no apologies for that. I'll say thank you for understanding. Thank you for joining us.
Next Thursday, 9:30 a.m. for The Show with No Name.
The Show with No Name. Bye for now.